Good morning. Welcome to Hindu Newspaper Analysis 31st December 2022. Core sector output rises 5.4% in uneven recovery. One should remember that core industries or core sectors of economy are the main or key industries in India. There are 8 such sectors in India. It includes coal, crude oil, natural gas, refinery products, fertilizers, steel, cement and electricity. These core sectors constitute 40.27% of the weight of the items included in the index of industrial production. And this index of 8 core sectors is prepared every month by Office of Economic Advisor, the Department for Policy of Industry and Internal Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. One should remember the weightage of the sectors also because UPSC asked a question in previous exam. The highest percentage of weightage was given to petroleum and refinery products. In the 2, electricity generation, steel production in the 3rd place, and 4th is coal production. So these are the important elements you should remember in every month of the core sector articles. Next article talks about, in the new evolving world, India needs a new vision. This is a wonderful article. I request every student in personal to read this article. This article includes various suggestions for India's next future path. This article immensely helpful in writing essay, in writing value addition points in answer writing. The article starts with a quotation, Vladimir Lenin. He says, and I quote, "There are decades where nothing happens and there are weeks where decades happen." In the pandemic time, India witnessed, not only India, globe witnessed a slowdown in economy. Later, we witnessed Russia-Ukraine conflict, and later we even witnessed retaliatory economic sanctions, weaponization of trade, dependencies, and rising inflation, food inflation, and also recession and shortage of crude oils, etc. Now this also changed the country's perception. A country which is champion of globalization, America, now moving towards the protectionism, and it is also leading economic sanctions on different countries. The economic restrictions on enemy countries, at the same time trading blocks, is also creating problems to the trade. Now, trustful globalization changed into foil trade, leading into formation of friend trade groups into different connotations. And at this point of time, new trade groups, new trade blocks are rising with the glorification of economic nationalization. Take for example China, which is creating a threat for the global order, imposing monopolization of trade throughout the globe. China becomes a complex problem for different countries. However, others says Chinese threat is neither just a border dispute with India nor isolated bilateral conflict. Chinese forces are now reshaping the global forces with hegemonic power. To counter Sino-centric world, India need to be an economically powerful country. However, others then created a slew of measures, suggested a slew of measures. Number 1, we need to have a social harmony, because to establish a social harmony, people should have better education, better employment opportunities, better social growth, better health developments. As you know very well that India is considered to be stunting capital of the world. So we need to overcome these challenges, and we should promote tolerance and peaceful coexistence in the society, which is a key to maintain peaceful internal security. So first and foremost, India's new path should have social harmony before economic progress. Then India should also change its governance structure. Once upon a time, that is during the early days of Indian independence, centralization played a critical role in holding together and also creating a democratic republic feeling among the states and the people. Now this is a time to give up this one nation, one policy mindset and you should have a strong decentralization and federalism, which need to help the states to progress. Then we need to have a stronger institutions for greater decentralization and reforming public institutions with powers, autonomy, resources, and accountability, which is the key essential elements. Coming to the foreign policy, we need to have a non-alignment approach to face these conflicts, and we need to also have market access with the new economic world order and needs to maintain balance of power. Apart from that, India should also focus on its economic strategy by bringing coalitions and help from other countries to bring new technologies like artificial intelligence and 5G technology, capital from other nations to return for the domestic market access. And last but not least, others also suggested that we need to have a strong political coalitions which will render the help to the India. In conclusion, it says that it is time to reimagine India's overall strategy and re-evaluate our normative policy framework in the backdrop of irrational world. We need a holistic military, diplomatic, social, economic strategy and not to be afraid of challenge conventional wisdom. I request again, please read this article for better clarity and better understanding and better valuation points to your notes. Next article talks about principle of shame. So this article highlights that recent controversial developments within the pharma sector. One side, Indian pharma sector is considered to be global capital of the pharmaceuticals. Other side, we are facing challenges. At least 66 children died in Gambia and 18 in Uzbekistan. And it is also interesting that WHO is also taking some serious measures against this issue, and Drugs Control General of India (DCGI) is now stepping up to counter these challenges. Let us wait and watch for the next developments in this regard. Next article talks about a strong case exists for marriage equality. So this article highlights about the recent controversial statement given by Member of Parliament on same-sex marriages. And he says that it is against the culture ethos. Now, author highlighted comparative law, as she is a law advocate, I guess. So she gave comparative law in different countries, and it also brought Indian context. So let me explain in a brief manner. There is a book talks about homosexuality in India, written by Salim Kidwai and Ritu Varita. And they spoke about that ancient Indian text and inscriptions and paintings on temples and walls, also clearly mentioning about homosexuality presence in India. And Britishers started to imperialize India, and they also started to impose their Victorian heteronormative view of sexual and marital relations, and they induced Section 377 of IPC in 1860. Later, it was normative in India to criminalize homosexual marriages. And finally, we have changes. Changes came from the well-repeated judgment given by Supreme Court in Navtej Singh Johar Judgment 2018, which decriminalized homosexuality. And it was followed by a slew of a series of judgments which supported these gay marriages or same-sex marriages. To begin with, Puttaswamy judgment highlighted that in 2017, right to privacy is a fundamental right. Apart from that, we should also remember that in Indian context, we also have Shafeen Jahan versus Ashokan KM, which cited that D.I. Chandrachud stated that deprivation of marital status is a matter of serious import and must be strictly in accordance with law. Right to marry a person is one's own choice and integral part of Article 21. Later in Shakti Vahini versus Union of India case, Supreme Court also mentioned that a right to choose life partner is manifestation of a right recognized under Article 1921. In famous Shafian Jahan versus Ashokan case, which is also called as Hadia case, Supreme Court clearly stated that it is her personal choice to marry and society doesn't have any role. Now, on that note, we can conclude that Supreme Court is now creating judicial activism among the legislatures to act on timely manner to recognize the dignity of the same-sex marriages. Other also quoted comparative law in comparison with European Court of Human Rights versus UK, which struck down some privacy offences and which upholded the right to privacy in European courts. In Volinesi versus Italy, which also enables same-sex marriage is also legally recognized right. And in South Africa also, which is dealing with the same-sex marriages, National Coalition for LGBTQ rights in 1998, Justice Ackerman compared privacy and equality approaches in these marriages. And finally, even USA also dealing with this issue to uphold the personal liberty. As of now, 32 countries around the globe legalize same-sex marriages, and Netherlands is the first one to recognize it. So now we have to remember all these facts for writing a question or even writing an essay, talks about rights issue. Next article talks about Modi inaugurates projects worth of 7,800 crores in Bengal. And prominent one is Vande Bharat mission, Vande Bharat trains. Vande Bharat Express, previously known as Train 18, is a semi-high-speed electric multiple-unit train operated by Indian Railways. It is designed by Integral Coach Factory of Chennai. The first train is also called as Train 18, which was inaugurated in 2019 between New Delhi and Varanasi. The second train flagged off between the Gandhinagar and Mumbai. Now it is an indigenously designed manufactured semi-high-speed train, which I told you earlier, and is part of Make in India campaign. The specialty is it is operated without a locomotive, and they are based on propulsion system called as distributed transient power technology. So this distributed traction power technology, which will power each coach, and it coaches incorporated passenger amenities including Wi-Fi, GPS-based passenger information, CCTVs, automatic doors in all coaches, rotating chairs, and bio-vacuum type toilets like in aircraft. It can achieve the maximum speed of 160 km per hour, and due to faster acceleration deceleration reduce the journey time by 25 to 45%. It also has intelligent braking system with power generation for battery energy, so better energy efficiency, thereby making it cost, energy and environment efficient. You should remember all these facts for prelims point of view, nothing much is important. Courts should step up, clear long pendency cases by Independence Day, CJI. We are well aware that National Judiciary Data Grid in 2018 stated that 3.84 cases pending in India, and major chunk of the cases are pending in lower courts. Now here also CJI highlighted this pendency is due to lack of distillation. For example, he quoted that, and he said, and I quote, in Andhra Pradesh, there is one civil case which is from 1980 is delayed in the court. From 1980 onwards, the case was delayed in the Andhra Pradesh local courts. There was a criminal case in Kalyanapurgam, Anantapur region, which was also delayed from 1978 onwards. Then there is high requirement for the distillation of data and records, which can enable courts to faster the judgments. That's all for today. Thank you so much and Jai Hind.